my name is Mel. I've recorded this video as a follow-up to a course I'm teaching, Beginner's Crochet in Harrogate. But if you haven't done that course and you've just found this video, don't worry about it, you can still take part. All you need is a ball of wool, yarn of any kind. It wants to be super chunky. The names can be a little bit misleading sometimes, but if you come into this bit here, it tells you what sort of yarn or hook you need. You want it to say 10mm. And if it says 10mm, then that's the right yarn. And then you need a 10mm crochet hook. The only other things I've used is a darning needle, which I got in one of these sets you can get from anywhere, a stitch marker, any kind will do, but it needs to be the opening kind, crochet kind, and I used a pair of scissors to cut. And what I've made is this mitt. Obviously you make a pair, and they're customizable to whatever size you want. So please have a watch. I'm fast forwarding through some bits that it shouldn't be too long a watch. If you want any other suggestions or want to get chatting, do make a comment. And there's also on this channel my vlog, which is my fortnightly podcast about knitting, crochet, crafting, all kinds of things. Enjoy. So first thing I'm going to do here is make a slip knot in your usual way, and then we're going to chain 19. Now we're going to count not the first loop from the hook but the second, and we're going to do a double crochet into that. That's a UK double crochet, a US single crochet, and then we're going to do that into the next chain as well, and we're going to do that into every single one across to the end. So here we are going into the last chain, and now we're going to count those stitches to make sure we have 18. So we're counting the little V's along the top. There's that first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 V's. Perfect. And at this point I'm just going to check it around the wrist to make sure it's roughly the right size. It's not much work done at this point. We can take it back if we need to do more or less. And it wants to go a little ways up the wrist because that's where it's going to sit. So I'm happy that it's the right length, so I'm going to put my hook back into my loop and I'm going to join them. So that first V that we counted there, I'm going to put the hook into both parts of that, and I'm going to draw the yarn through both parts on my hook. This is called a slip stitch, and now it's joined, and I'm just going to check to make sure it's not twisted. That's great. So on with the next part. We're going to do a half treble crochet, but we're going to go into that back loop. Can you see? Not the whole V, not both loops, just the back loop. So we do yarn over, we insert the hook, bring it through the work, yarn over again and bring it through all 3 loops. So again, we're going to mark this first stitch with that stitch marker. So again, yarn over, go into the back loop, yarn over and bring up a loop, and now yarn over and bring through all 3 loops on the hook. So that's a half treble crochet. In US terms it's a half double, and we're going to do that into every stitch all the way around till we get to the marked stitch. So that's the end of our half treble round. We're now going to start another round of double crochets. So we'll take the marker out of that first stitch and we'll do a double crochet into the back loop. So that's an American, a US single crochet, a UK double crochet into the back loop, and again we're going to mark that stitch so we know when we finish the round. And then we're going to do a double crochet into the back loop of every stitch around. Now I'm going to have another quick try on to make sure it's the right size and it's feeling fine. There's a little bit of space in there if I want to put it over the top of a t-shirt or a long sleeve t-shirt or something. So let's start again, and we're going to do another half treble crochet round. So yarn over into the back loop, yarn over, bring up a loop, and yarn over through all three, and again mark that first stitch so we know when we finish this round. This is exactly the same as the round you did before, a half treble crochet, a US half double crochet into every stitch around. Now we're back to the last stitch again. And let's just have a look at this. See how many loops there are on that? 1, 2, 3 loops. That is a really good way of telling if you've put your crochet down and you can't remember where you were at. That's a really good way of working out where you were at. Because once I've put this stitch marker back in, you'll be able to see I've just done a double crochet. There are 2 loops there. When I've done my half treble, there are 3 loops. So if you're not sure which row you've just done, have a look at that and that'll tell you. So again, another round of all double crochets, US single crochets into every back loop. Right. So we're going to carry on like this, doing rounds of half treble US half double crochets into the back loop, followed by a round of double crochets, US single crochets into the back loop. And you can keep doing these until your mitt is as long as you want it to be. Now I'm going to try it on here. Where you want it to be is up to the base of your thumb. Before we start the next bit, it wants to be as long as you want it to be, up to the base of your thumb. So if you want it longer on your wrist, then do another couple of rounds, but finish with a half treble round. And we're now going to start the increase round for the thumb. So it's the same as before. We put the stitch marker in and we're going to do double crochets into every back loop all the way around until we get to near the end of the round. And here, when we have just 2 stitches left before the marker, we're going to do our increases. So this is very simple. You're going to do your double crochet into the back loop, as always, but instead of moving on to the next stitch now, you're going to go back into that same loop and do a second stitch. You do the same again with the last stitch of the round. You're going to do your double into the back loop and then do another one into that same back loop. So you've now increased by 2 stitches in that round. And now the next round is a standard half treble again until we get to the end. So we're going to start that half treble, put the marker back in and carry on round until you get to the last 6 stitches of the round. Now you can spot the deliberate mistake here because I went a little bit too far. not so easy to eyeball 6 stitches as it is 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6. I was meant to miss out 6 stitches. So just take your hook out, pull the thread, and then come back to that last stitch. So I'm going to miss out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. That's the thumb hole. So missing those, go straight into the first stitch of the new round. Now we've done a half treble round, so we're now going to do a double round. So go into that back loop. I'm going to take the marker off here because it's in the way. And I'm going to complete a double crochet. Make sure it's nice and tight. There we go. So replace the marker and complete the rest of the round with double crochets into the back loop of every stitch. So you can see how you've made a thumb hole there. If your thumb doesn't fit in, you need to go back and do something different. But at that point it should fit in nicely. We're now going to carry on as before with another half treble round. So moving the marker, half trebles into the back loop of every stitch. So completing that round. And now we're going to do another double crochet round into the back loop as before. Now stitch markers don't always want to play. Well, I got him in the end. So another round of double crochets through the back loop, US single crochets. At this point I'm going to try it on again. Is it long enough? Completely up to you how long you want it. Slightly shorter on the front of the hand. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So I'm going to do a slip stitch. So just through the back loop, draw up a loop and bring it through both loops on my hook. And now cut the yarn and pull it through. And your wrist warmer is done. Just going to run the ends in now. So I've got that tapestry needle. I've got the end at the finishing part of the project. I'm going to tuck it under the stitch 3 times on the outside, and then I'm going to change direction and I'm going to go to the inside of the mitt where it won't be seen. Tuck it in through a few stitches. You can turn it inside out if that makes it easier for you. Tuck it in through a few, pull it through, and then just wiggle it around a bit to make sure there's plenty of space, and then snip that end off. And then the same at the bottom. We're going to join that first round here. I've left a very short tail, should have left a longer one really. So I'm actually joining it to the other side at this point as well. So pulling them together. If there's a little hole there that you don't like, just sew over the top of it. So I'm coming back that way to link it on the top, and I'm going to make a bit of a mess of this bit, just warn you. Tuck it inside, in through a few stitches. Oops, it's too short, so I'm going to tuck in the needle and then thread it. If you've been sensible and got a longer tail, you won't have this problem. So it finishes on the inside, having changed direction again, and then give it a wiggle, make sure it's all happy, looks fine, and then just trim that tiny end off. And you're done. Go and make another one.